All right. Guess we will trans over into Pistons talk. And again, not really too much on the front. As of the most recent breaking news, their next two games were originally postponed due to COVID within the Spurs organization. So we were supposed to play the Mavs tonight, but that game was canceled due to obviously the terrible conditions going down in Texas right now. They're not used to a little bit of snow. They don't know how to drive down there, so
people are losing power too. They're turning off people's power.
yeah, I know. It has a lot to do with the solar shit and blah, blah, blah. Texas is a weird state, but unfortunately, they're not used to weather like this, so they are in kind of a state of emergency. So that game is canceled. But somehow the Pistons were able to work out with the Bulls because they had a game that was canceled earlier this week. Honestly, I have no idea how this really works with scheduling. Like if we're supposed to play the Bulls later and we just move that up so we can swap places with another game and maybe both the games that were postponed originally can be moved to there. I'm not really sure how the scheduling is going to work.
It's just going to be like this. When we both can reschedule the game, it was earlier in the season, it got canceled, I think because of us, because we had a false positive.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously we played the next night because it was a false positive. So I believe it was this game. I'm not 100% sure, but that's so because our game got canceled and the Bulls games got canceled. The Pistons and Bulls organization's like, hey, let's do this. We both missed our games. Let's make a game, and that's just how it's gonna have to be. And with us and the Spurs and the Mavericks, we're just gonna have to find a.
Basically, we're just gonna have to work in games here and there. But so we are going to be playing the Bulls tonight. That starts at 8 p.m.
This Pistons team is so much fun to watch.
We're on a 2-game win streak against the Pelicans and the Boston Celtics, surprisingly. And another one of the biggest breaking news that's kind of come out recently is Blake Griffen is on the trading block. We're sitting him indefinitely, aren't we?
Yep.
Yeah, so basically he's going to be sitting indefinitely until we can either work out a trade or even a buyout has been talked. It's going to be hard because I think he's owed 36 or 38 million, somewhere in that range. Basically a shit ton of money. Yeah, so it's going to be hard to find a trade partner. I'm sure it's just going to end up being a buyout situation. I'm just hoping it's not a Josh Smith type situation where we pay it out over 5 to maybe 10 years, something like that. I hope it's either we pay him out fully this year or just maybe either 2 or 3 years. That way we're not tied up in Blake Griffen over the next few years like it was again with Josh Smith. Either way, the team looks better without Blake Griffen. They seem to be moving just way quicker throughout and down, up and down the court. And again, it's given Saddiq Bey a chance to shine. He has been amazing the last few games.
And he just won Player of the Week in the Eastern Conference.
So congratulations to Saddiq Bey on winning that. Yeah, again, the Pistons have been doing really good. And again, as we mentioned in our last episode, if you actually watch the Pistons games, even when they were losing, it was always a very competitive game. They got blown out a few times, but it was very rare that they actually, like the one game against the Jazz where we were getting blown out almost the entire game. We came back right at the end and almost won, but unfortunately ended up losing. So this Pistons is a very competitive team. And again, with Blake Griffen being gone, Andre Drummond's gone. We'll bring up Andre Drummond in a second, but Derrick Rose is gone. It's given the younger guys a chance to get a lot more minutes and a lot more experience. And again, hopefully Killian Hayes is expected to be back. I think it's at the 22nd of March. So yeah, we still have about a month before he can return, but hopefully once he gets back, he'll be playing a few more minutes than he was, and we'll see how good they can be.
This team is just so much fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have Mason Plumlee, which is honestly doing amazing.
Who put up a triple-double the other night for the first
career triple-double.
Mm-hmm.
He is, honestly, you can tell that he came from Denver because of Nikola Jokic and how Nikola Jokic basically runs that offense in Denver. Like, it's ran through him, and he's always getting triple-doubles. Or, here, believe me to the fact, maybe Mason Plumlee helped Jokic play like that.
Could be a mixture of both.
I never really saw either one of them play too much before. I know, obviously, now Nikola Jokic, like, that's his game. He's, like, basically a point center.
Yeah.
He runs the offense in Denver. But this team is just, the Pistons are just so much fun to watch. I love our starters. I love our bench. Like, it's just so much fun to watch. We traded for Dennis Smith Jr., and like I was telling, I already like him already. Like, I'm already enjoying watching him play. In the Pelicans game, Lewis Jr. was bringing the ball down court, and Smith was like trying to steal it and got him to like dribble the ball back court, so then got it over and back, and like he instantly like snatched the ball away from him, and then like they were like jawing back and forth. A couple plays later, he's running. Lewis is running down with a fast break, and Josh Jackson comes up and blocks him. It's called goaltending. That was a little iffy. Ball wasn't necessarily going down, but it's fine. And automatically chest bumps him, and like it's so amazing because it brings it back to the bad boys era and how they're gonna be physical with you, they're gonna be rough, they're gonna intimidate you, and you gotta not back down. And I love it, and I love watching this team. I said this in the last podcast. I am having so much fun watching these. And I saw somebody post something. So we had the bad boy Pistons, we had the going to work Pistons. Somebody said we should call these the don't quit Pistons, because like Jordan said, they can be losing the entire game and come back and win it, almost win it, or they just never quit and they keep fighting. They took the Lakers with AD and LeBron to double overtime.
Yeah. Unfortunately, LeBron put us out of business, but that was still, like you said, it was a great game to watch and very competitive game all the way down to the end when you watch like these young guys in their first, second, or just early in their careers put on a show against these huge superstar athletes. So it's really fun to watch. And again, if you've been watching since the beginning of the season, it's just so much fun to watch the development of these players like Saddiq Bey, like Ski Mikhailuk, like, again, Mason, even though Mason Plumlee's a veteran, kind of just seeing them.
Even Ski Mikhailuk, I know you weren't you weren't watching the games too much when we traded for him, but like I said, I watched the games, and I remember watching him like play when we traded for him from LA, and like that's when he first came, like he was scared to shoot, he couldn't defend, he couldn't ball handle, like all he could do was shoot, and he was scared to shoot, and like just seeing his growth from that season to now is just tremendous. Like, it's finally time that people start giving Dwayne Casey props. Like, I know that his record hasn't been the best because he's had these crappy teams, but he is such a great development coach. Pascal Siakam. I'm honestly saying Pascal Siakam is as good as he is because of Dwayne Casey. Christian Wood wasn't that good, came to Detroit, shined, got paid big money. Jeremiah Grant was a backup in Denver. Wasn't playing the best. I think averaged like 12 points a season.
Yeah.
Comes to Detroit and he's averaging 20. He's our number one option. Probably an all-star. Hopefully an all-star. Mason Plumlee. Not a starting center. Not really considered a starting center. Has his first career triple-double. Josh Jackson, a labeled bust. Hey, come to Detroit. Come play under me. I don't care what you did back then. I just wanted to see what you can do now. Josh Jackson having a great year. We went out and just got all these young players so Dwayne Casey can mold these guys into what he wants, and it's so amazing. And Dwayne Casey is such a great coach, and I don't want to see anybody talking crap about Dwayne Casey because he is developing these guys and turning these guys into great players, and this team in a couple of years is going to be a top seed in the East.
Yeah, no, they're, like I said, they're only going to get better from here on out, and it's amazing to watch them grow as much as they have. So, again, I guess we'll see what happens with these next postponed games, and if they can beat the Bulls tonight. Hopefully they can keep that 2-game winning streak going.